it's a beautiful morning. You're welcome to Women's Corner. My name is Rose Blossom. And of course, it's exciting to be here. Oh, where's this? Thank God it's Friday. Even though it's not looking so Friday-ish. I do not know why. It's like we're not ready for this Friday. But please, I am ready for the weekend. Anyways, you can join us live on YouTube at Galaxy TV News. You can watch us right there. And also, we have other YouTube channels. We have Galaxy TV Entertainment, Galaxy TV Comedy, and Galaxy TV Vibes. So that's where we have all the events and red carpet moments on that YouTube channel. So like, subscribe, and share. Also, we have an app on Google Play Store and Apple Play Store, so you can download the app and watch Galaxy TV, and of course, watch every live program live from there. Of course, I'm not doing it alone. I have my girl with me, Confidence. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I mean, like you said, today doesn't feel like Friday.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the dress that we wore. I'm wearing a corporate. Who wears a corporate on Friday? Oh my goodness. Covenants do better. Anyways, good morning, our esteemed viewers. Today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Today is that day that you ought to you ought to unwind. I say rewind. You ought to unwind after a busy filled and a work filled week. From Monday to Thursday, you've been working. Today, make sure you unwind after work. And yes, you're welcome to Women's Corner. We have beautiful, we have beautiful conversation. We have beautiful topics. We have beautiful tips lined up for you today. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show with us.
Okay, all right. So we'll be actually doing a lot more of great tips. And trust me, she likes the tip.
I do. We do.
We do actually. We talked about this yesterday. So yes, I thought about like, okay, let's put it in for today. Sure.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll be talking about divorce and breakups.
My
Lord.
God, that table.
Today, we're going to break tables or shake tables.
Yeah.
So yes, we should all get ready because that's what we're about to do on the show. And of course, we have an amazing guest joining us. But before we bring our guests on to the show, let's quickly go for a tip on emotional intelligence. See, you're not breaking up. You're broken up, you're in a relationship, you're married, about to get married, you're divorced, you're about to get in a situationship. Whatever ship that you are, trust me, you still need emotional intelligence. That's the best way to handle your partner and even friendship too. Like I said, any ship.
Actually.
So this is an amazing tip for everyone. So let's quickly go see the tips on emotional intelligence. And of course, we'll be right back. We'll introduce a guest, then we'll start cracking and start talking about divorce and breakup. We'll be right back.
Tips on emotional detachment. Detaching emotionally from someone you love requires a mindful approach and commitment to your own well-being. Begin by acknowledging your emotions without judgment. Allow yourself to feel whatever arises, like sadness, anger, or longing. Then, establish clear boundaries to create space between you and the person. This might involve limiting contact, avoiding triggers, or even unfollowing them on social media. Once you've done this, redirect your focus away from that person and onto activities and relationships that nourishes your soul and bring you happiness. Cultivate self-awareness through mindfulness practice, noticing when thoughts of the person arise and gently guiding your attention elsewhere. Seek support from trusted friends, families, or a therapist to process your feelings and gain perspective. Remember, emotional detachment is a gradual process, so be patient and compassionate with yourself as you navigate through it. Here are some tips on how to detach from someone. Limit communication. Reduce the frequency and depth of your interactions with the person. Limiting communication might involve setting boundaries around when and how often you communicate or taking a temporary break from contact altogether. Focus on yourself. Shift your attention inward and prioritize your own needs and well-being. Engage in activities that bring you joy, pursue personal goals, and invest in self-care practices. Create distance. Physically remove yourself from situations or environments where you will likely encounter the person. Creating distance and setting healthy boundaries can help reduce the emotional triggers and attachment associated with your presence. Challenge idealization. Recognize and challenge any idealized perceptions you may have of the person, especially in the context of an unhealthy or toxic relationship. Remind yourself of their flaws and limitations and strive to see them more realistically, understanding the impact of the relationship dynamics on your well being. And lastly, seek support. Lean on a friend, family member, or a mental health professional for emotional support and guidance. Talking about your feelings and receiving validation can improve your emotional health and allow you to gain perspectives on a healthy relationship.
Okay, welcome back. Yes, still watching Galaxy TV, and of course, this is when it's kind of the road through 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Okay, we're talking about divorce and breakup. Tips on emotional intelligence. Can you give us quick? She did the research, so kindly give us the favorite. What's this for me?
Oh my God, I need to not come in.
Kindly give us just one or two of your favorite tip from that research.
Okay, so I think my favorite is not being in the same space where the person I'm trying to heal from is, because it would ruin my emotions. And because I can be very emotional, I'm a soft person. Little things would trigger, especially when we now have so much memories together. It would just trigger when I see this person like this. I might not get angry, but I would just feel very, somehow inside of me, I'll start having panic attacks. So the one that stood out for me, or the tip that stood out for me, is not being in the same space of the person that I'm trying to move on from or heal from. So yeah.
Whereas some people do not even want to move on from it and they just want to stay around. Probably they're giving themselves false hope. Well,
or maybe they see a slight chance that there might be something, or maybe something might happen again.
Trust me, nothing will happen. In fact, if anything should happen,
some people go back to their exes.
Yeah, but that is not because they're in the same space.
Okay.
So there's a breathing, there's a growing, there's a better emotional standard and everything.
Okay.
So that one, of course, yes. Let me not say that there. Of course, people can actually come back together
Right.
being exes, but not when you are in the same space every time, or you tend to, maybe you go to the same church.
Okay.
No, can't work.
I think I've actually seen someone like that. Like they broke up, but because they were attending the same church, it was hard for them to move on. And then they realized that not being with you makes me miss you. So why not we try again? And I'm like, ugh, this is just going to become really toxic. Because I don't know.
But how did it work out for them?
Did it work out?
Didn't work out.
I don't know. Right now, I'm not in their business, so I don't even know if they're still together or they're just
possibly. Sometimes it might work. You know, you
actually
can't just put it to a zero because you never know. Maybe they were so impatient, but now they say something. I do not know, but they say something. You only value what you have until you lose it. So sometimes people need to lose something and see you in another perspective, and they just want to keep you. They want to have you back again. But sometimes kokoro will still eat inside your head, and they will still misbehave.
Translation, please. What's going to be ants?
Ants will still, jump everyone, and things will just go AWire and everything. So yes, that's it. Anyways, let's bring our guest. We're just having fun in the studio. Let's bring our guest in. Of course, her name is Funke Ayodeji. She's an administrator of Oaks and Pillars Private School. She's a teacher, a resource personnel, and also a mentor to young adults. Can we have Funke on the screen? Good morning.
Good morning, Funke.
Good morning. Fine, thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Thank you so much for joining.
You're welcome.
Okay, so my first question is, let's talk about the breakup, because I do not know how divorce works, but of course we'll still ask questions in relation to divorce. So for breakup, like we said, we did a tip now, which is emotional intelligence. Now, what do you think is the best way to move on from a breakup, especially when it is very painful, like a very painful breakup?
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. I think I will use myself as an example. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
we can. Please go ahead.
Okay. So there's this guy I was dating after my school, after I graduated, and I was like, this time that we are growing up, and we have this kind of structure in our brain, like, okay, this are the kind of guys I'm looking forward to meet and all of that. Then I eventually met this guy, you know, all the structure, everything I imagined, he has it and all of that. Then we started dating, and boom, the guy said, there was a day he just called and said, I think we should just go our separate ways, you know. And I'm not that kind of person that easily love. And even throughout my school days, I don't really have time for relationship and all of that. So I was like, okay, killing myself for this guy. Let me just meet the person that match my energy and all of that. When eventually met the person, and this guy, I've already loved the person, and he just said, okay, I don't think I don't want you. Without have any misunderstanding. He just said, I don't want you. I don't deserve you. I was like, wow. Then, that can be very painful. So it took me a lot, you understand, to get off of him. I cried and did a lot of things. But what actually worked for me was, do you know that there was a time after crying for months, I would still dial his number and call him again and start crying on the phone. So what I actually did, I helped out was that I set boundaries. Then I deleted his number, any form of communication whatsoever. I cut it off. Understand? And I also changed my environment where I was staying. I had to move to a friend's house. And left where I was staying. I moved to my friend's house and I told her what happened. So she counseled me. And during the counseling time, so I was also the emotional stuff. I was also crying and all of that. So she was the one trying to tell me that, is it the only one? Don't worry, better person will come and all of that. So we have to, I think I have to, and I concur with what she said, we have to set boundaries and you have to move around from where you are staying. Understand? Maybe move close to a friend that can actually help you, go out, do things that you love doing. Maybe your hobbies, go out and have fun and all of that. So it will help, healing the process. It will help you forget those times the memory that you're having, and delete everything that has to do with the person. Maybe the picture, everything you have together, you have to delete it from, you know, anywhere that can help you to make you to see them. So I think that will help the healing process.
Is very
Hello.
very important actually. So you said you cried for months and then it got to a point where you would call this person and then even cry. That must have been really painful.
I
So
did.
my question is, at
Right.
what
That's
point
very true.
do you think, or do you think anyone that is going through breakup or that is going through a divorce, a divorce, at what point do you think the person needs professional support, like therapy, like counseling? Is it at the point where the person is deciding to commit suicide, or at the point where the person is, because a lot of people will say, no, I love this woman too much, I love this woman too much, life is now worthless, what am I doing? So is it before they get to that point, or they're still, I don't know, just let me know, at what point do you think one needs professional support when going through breakup or divorce?
Ah, I think immediately it happens, we need to speak up to someone we actually trust, like friends. Understand? So when you now open up to the friend that you really trust, and you discover and when the person starts counseling you, and this the one I experienced was just a breakup, not a divorce. Because now you are intimate with this
Okay.
person, you might even have kids with the person. So the memory is going to be more than just dating, the breakup. You understand?
Mm.
So it's going to be more. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. The emotion, everything is going to. In fact, this can even bring anger, anxiety, and hatred. You might just die to hate people around you. But I think immediately it happens, we need help. We need to speak up. And when you don't speak up, people around you might not even notice that that's what is actually happening to you. So you need to relate with friends, open up to them. Then when they see the way you are behaving, doing them, say, this person really needs a professional support. He needs a therapist that will actually counsel the person and that will make the person to feel better. Because not immediately my friends counsel me that I started listening to her and I started, moving on. And all those things that she was telling me was like, what's this one saying? You understand? So we need to speak up on time before it gets to we thinking of committing suicide or thinking of, you know, damaging ourselves.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
all right,
you.
amazing. Okay, now let's talk about people who have actually broken up, and of course they feel like they've moved on. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, they get to meet that partner again.
Oof.
Now, when the feeling starts sparking up again, they see that, okay, I like this person. I think the feelings is still there. They've been apart, so they are not seen. And I believe proximity creates affection. When you're
Yeah.
too close with someone, sometimes you think you love them. Sometimes you think you're crushing
Mm-hmm.
on them. But trust me, it's just because of how close you guys are. Now, when that distance has been there, so she believes she has moved on. He believes he has moved on, and they are meeting again. Then, of course, seeing themselves and talking, just random talking, and
Mm-hmm.
they find out that both of them find out the emotions is still there. They still love this person. They still care about this person. And despite the
Exactly.
fact that they might
Exactly.
even have partners,
Mm-hmm.
but in their head, you could even both of them know that in their head, they are trying to say, you can actually give this a try. Like after this long time, and we're still having this emotion, this feeling, maybe we should just give it a try. Maybe it will work.
Yes.
Now, when it gets to that situation, do you think it's advisable that you continue or maybe leave your partner to go ahead with that relationship? And well, if that is not advisable, what do you think both parties should do?
All right. I I'll just be using my experience as an example. You know, even now that I'm married, my ex, there was a time he chatted me. I was like, how far? How is everything? But immediately we can just greet, randomly and how are you doing,
Yeah.
how is work and all of that. But immediately I discovered that you have, passing your boundaries, trying to bring out our memory that already buried for a long time ago.
Mm.
Immediately I cut it. I cut off the conversation. So I made him understand I am married now, please. And when he doesn't listen, I block him. We need to set boundaries. Let them know that no, that's my past. So we can greet. We are not for the fact that we are not together, that doesn't mean we are fighting. We are still friends. When we see we can still greet.
Right.
You understand? You are forgiving the person and they have moved on. But when you meet the person and the person is like trying to take you back, and when this person knows that you are married or you are in another relationship, so you have to set boundaries and cut off the conversation immediately.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay,
All
that's amazing. Avoid
right.
intimate conversations. Okay, do you have any
Yes,
questions?
I do. How long should it take someone to move on from a breakup? Let's not even, talk about divorce right now. From a breakup, how long should it take someone to move on? Or do you think that people should always, go at their pace? But going at their pace too can mentally, slow them down. So I just feel like there should be a time frame, like maybe after a week, you're supposed to have moved on. Your head is supposed to be clear and you're supposed to think right and, move on to the next thing. So do you think, or what, it's not, do you think, how long should it take someone to just move on? Cause I want to know. We want
Okay, we are different. So,
to know.
and the way
Yes.
we relate to issues, different. But for me, I would say at least 6 months after breakup. Give yourself time to heal properly. Because when you don't heal from breakups, for example, you are dating a guy and, things happen and you guys you are no longer together. What really happened in that past relationship? If you are not careful, you begin to see other guys like maybe the other guy is having a bad attitude. So if you are not properly healed, that anger you are bringing, you are not even healed. You don't even, you transfer that aggression back to the new person. And we are different. So if people doesn't when they don't give time to heal properly, it affects their new relationship. So I think 6 months. 6 months is not too much to give yourself. Be okay, be happy, heal. Make sure you are properly healed to the extent that even when you meet this old person that that you have breakup with, you can easily check the person and greet the person. Your heart is clean with the person. You are no more,
All
you're
right.
forgiving the person, you have moved on and all of that. But if it's like a last month, like a month, 2 months, when you see the person, you are still angry, you have not been healed properly. So I think we should give ourselves like 6 months. Yes.
Okay. So moving on is different from healing, right? Are there differences, or you think they are the same? Because people will tell you, I've moved on from him. I just moved on from him in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But when they see the same person again after even a month, their hearts they start to have palpitations. So it's moving on different from healing. Are there different things?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Moving on is different. Girls can, pretend like, okay, I've moved on. Do you know that a girl can even break up with somebody? I'm using a girl that as an example. Maybe when you now see the person, maybe you still have the WhatsApp number of the person, for example, and you're like, let me play this guy. And you start snapping picture with another guy posting in this my love, whereas you don't have anything to do with the person. Some people do that too. They do it a lot. Then you start with the person, this is my new guy. Whereas inside of them, they are not healed. They are not happy. They just want to do something that will make the other person jealous that they have actually moved on. But deep inside of them, they are still hot. So it's two different things. So you might say, I've moved on. And when you even say you have moved on outside, you go inside your room and start crying again. So it's two different things. So we need to be properly healed from inside. Then even people around us can testify to you that you are not faking this. I think you are healed now. You are ready for the new relationship.
Moving on, and the breakup and the distancing and everything. Okay, so my question is in relations to, there are some persons, very few persons that I've met that I know of, that no matter the breakup, no matter how much they've loved their partner, trust me, what I don't want to mention, I almost mentioned her name now, what I almost like myself too, the worst that would happen to her, as much as she loved the person, you see that day that the breakup happened, she will cry her eyeballs out. Like literally there's nothing you could do. Just give her maybe chocolates or give her drinks or buy her red wine. Let her just while away that day crying and saying things, all manner of stuff, and you're just there consoling her. The following day, my girl is out. She's not even thinking. And when the guy comes, maybe coming to beg, she'll be like, no, I've cried over you.
Oh wow.
I've cried over you, and that's it. Once I drop the tears for you, I am done. And she moves on, like nothing. And before you know, in less than a month, you see her telling you about some series of guys. So she's looking for who she's going to date, but she does not want somebody that probably has the traits of the previous one, so that the breakup will not be like the other one. And trust me, by the time she was doing all of this, before we knew it, she actually got married. Like she was taking out the traces of every other man that has broken up with her, and once she sees it in you, she will just not go ahead with you. But so when she saw that this person was completely different from most of her exes, there was no similarity of those bad traits, when the person proposed, she just agreed, and it got, funny enough, the quickest, fastest relationship that I've had among my friends, because I've always thought that maybe she was using them as a rebound. Do you understand? That's what I've always thought. But when she met the person, she said, like, this person is different from this, from that. And he said he wants to get married to me in the next 2-3 months. In fact, we're not waiting 3 months, we're doing 2 months. And they are married over 6 years now, married with kids, and they are happy. Now I'm now wondering, is she a superwoman, or there's something she has cultured herself into that is able to make her understand herself and to do better by herself? Do you think that is even, because that's actually possible? I've seen someone, that's my very good friend. Yeah, so that worked with her. But do you think it's possible for you to work with other women?
Okay, that's why I said it earlier that we are different. Some women could be very emotional, and some, they don't give you shit. That once they cry over you for once, they are off. They don't even remember you. Yeah. So we are different. We have all these soft baby girls, and and some that they don't even care. So I think that's what really happened. It's not that, like, I don't want to judge now that maybe she doesn't really love those ones that she has dated in the past. So I can't really say, but that might be what is really happening. And we are different. We are different. Maybe that's just her person. So that's what I can say.
Like the way we women love. Like she doesn't love with, how we women were so attached. She doesn't, even if she's attached, I don't know. You know how a man will love you, and the moment he's done, he's really done. Yeah, I think she's more like that. But I can't advise him.
Actually,
Creamy, sorry.
Oh, I feel like when a man says he's done today, he must have thought about it before that day, right? So
Very true. Anyways, do you have any questions?
Yes,
so
I
that
do.
have one
I
on?
do. So
Yeah.
I wrote this particular question down so I do not forget. What are some healthy coping methods for managing the emotional roller coaster that you would likely face after a breakup or during a breakup? What are the healthy coping methods you advise that women should do, or ladies, young girls out there should do?
Okay. I think I've mentioned some earlier that they should do things they love most, like their hobbies. If you have fun, go out, they can exercise themselves, engage in in their hobbies, all of that. Those are the things they can do to get themselves back. I don't know if I've answered the
One
question.
last question before we go for a short break. Okay, my question is coming from the aspect of divorce. Now, we know a lot of people get divorced and, they have to deal with the heartbreak, they have to deal
Yeah.
with, the separation and their children and all of that. Now, in the process of being divorced and you're heartbroken, now you have to still consider your children. You cannot show that weakness to them. You can't show that this is really eating you up. But some persons would always want to show it to their children, like, this is what your daddy did, this is what your mommy did. I am heartbroken, this is the kind of person you are. Now, in situations like this, what would you advise couples to do, especially from a woman? Because trust me, I think from research and calculations, women are the ones who are most likely to tell their children what their father did,
Yeah.
impute a certain image about their father, just for maybe the children to not really get close to the father and all of that, which obviously is wrong. But what do you think as a woman we should do when you know it is not working and he has to go, or he really wants to go? Just let him go. But now you're going to be heartbroken. How do you handle yourself in front of your children, and at the same time, how do you still manage being divorced with your ex-husband and still being able to make sure that the relationship with the father and the children is still there? What's the best way they can go about it?
Okay. I would like to say that firstly, children, what children don't forget things early. They don't forget things easily. So whatever you tell them about their father, that was the mentality that's what will be in their brain. And they will grow up with that kind of attitude. So we need to, when such a thing happens, we need to try as much as possible not to tell them bad things about their father. You know, let them know, don't lie to them, let them know that you guys are separated. And it depends on the age of the children. Depending on them, if they are matured, they can actually see that you guys are not together. But if they are still very young, tell them it's not their fault that their father is not here. And you can also tell them that, don't just praise their father. Don't tell them bad things about their father, because they will grow up hating their dad, and vice versa. If it is the dad that they went with also, they are going to grow up hating their mom. And they might also have this mentality of or marriage, because it has happened to a lot of children or a lot of grown-ups adults that I'm not even interested in marriage, because I don't like the way my dad and my mom ended up and all of that. So what we have to be very careful in whatever we tell them, because that's what they will grow up with. So we don't just try to balance it, that it's not their fault. Try to counsel them that their father is a good person. You understand? So when they grow up, so they will discover that themselves. They will discover it in their dad themselves. So don't just put it in their brain that their father is a bad person. Your bad on us. Your father is a very bad person. You don't have to have anything to do with them. No, you just have to be playing with them. You know, love them more. Draw them together. To are close to ourselves, because this time it's not going to, as it's not easy for you as a woman, it's not going to be easy for the children, because especially female children, they are attached to their dad. So there's a way you balance it, and if you know you can't handle it, we need to call a therapist, someone who can actually handle children, who can talk to them in a better way. We can't do that. Yes, I think that's what I have to say.
And so, how can somebody rebuild trust in others? Let's say a lady or a guy was betrayed in a relationship, and the person totally lose their trust, and then that, or we all know that love would come again, right? Love would definitely happen to you again. How can one rebuild
Sure.
their trust in others, because being heartbroken and being betrayed is traumatic. It's really traumatic. And if I know that if people carry those traumatizing experiences into another relationship, they would jeopardize it. They would honestly spoil that other one. So how can one gradually rebuild trust in others?
And that, they said trust is hand. Understand? So that other new person is going to. There's no how we are going to pretend. There is no way you are going to erase that former relationship from your head. Understand? You begin, if you are not careful, you see everybody or all guys as the same. So we need to do what? Slow down. You know that you are here already. You are ready for another relationship. You need to see this new person as a different person. That is not the former person you've dated. So, and gradually, we might not really trust the person at first. Then you begin to, learn how to trust the person gradually. Yes, and make sure the person is earning the trust. Begin to give the person, space for them to, for you to really trust them. So we can't really trust like that at once. Even though we erase the former one from our head, we still have to, that new person still have to earn that trust.
Earn the trust, right?
Trust is earned. Trust is earned. That's what I always tell people. When you break someone's trust me, the person is always going to live in the doubt of you.
True.
The person will doubt you at every flipping thing. Even when the truth is glaring, the person will just still choose to be safe, to be on the safe side. And just trusting anything can happen. So let it be like that. But
really
anyways,
dangerous.
we really appreciate you. We can't take any more questions, even though I still have about 4 questions to ask, but I can't ask that again. But we'll still take this topic again, and hopefully you really want to talk about it and give us more advice on how to deal with divorce and breakup. Actually, thank you so much, Funke Ayodeji, for being on the show with us with Iron Covenant. All of us from Galaxy TV, we appreciate you. We love you so much. Thank you so much. But I hope you enjoy the show.
Yes, I am. I did.
Thank you so very much. So I'll see you on my WhatsApp as usual. Okay, anyway, and that's it for today. But because we still have one more tip, we'll take one more tip before we wrap up the show. So let's quickly go for tips on emotional detachment. And we'll be right back. I'm not saying get emotionally detached with people. No, I'm talking about this when you have a divorce or you have a breakup. Yeah. So you need to be emotionally detached. And just like the previous one, you have to have emotional intelligence. So let's do this one. I'll be right back to wrap up the show. Stay with us.
Tips on emotional detachment. Detaching emotionally from someone you love requires a mindful approach and commitment to your own well-being. Begin by acknowledging your emotions without judgment. Allow yourself to feel whatever arises, like sadness, anger, or longing. Then, establish clear boundaries to create space between you and the person. This might involve limiting contact, avoiding triggers, or even unfollowing them on social media. Once you've done this, redirect your focus away from that person and onto activities and relationships that nourishes your soul and bring you happiness. Cultivate self-awareness through mindfulness practice, noticing when thoughts of the person arise and gently guiding your attention elsewhere. Seek support from trusted friends, families, or a therapist to process your feelings and gain perspective. Remember, emotional detachment is a gradual process, so be patient and compassionate with yourself as you navigate through it. Here are some tips on how to detach from someone. Limit communication. Reduce the frequency and depth of your interactions with the person. Limiting communication might involve setting boundaries around when and how often you communicate or taking a temporary break from contact altogether. Focus on yourself. Shift your attention inward and prioritize your own needs and well-being. Engage in activities that bring you joy. Pursue personal goals and invest in self-care practices. Create distance. Physically remove yourself from situations or environments where you will likely encounter the person. Creating distance and setting healthy boundaries can help reduce the emotional triggers and attachment associated with your presence. Challenge idealization. Recognize and challenge any idealized perceptions you may have of the person, especially in the context of an unhealthy or toxic relationship. Remind yourself of their flaws and limitations and strive to see them more realistically, understanding the impact of the relationship dynamics on your well being. And lastly, seek support. Lean on a friend, family member, or a mental health professional for emotional support and guidance. Talking about your feelings and receiving validation can improve your emotional health and allow you to gain perspectives on a healthy relationship.
Okay, I said it, and it happened that way. All right, welcome back. Anyways, that's come to the end of the program. Covenant, can you sign out?
Yeah, it was such a beautiful time in the studio. It was such a beautiful time. Trust me, no one is, everyone will always undergo learning, always undergo trainings and teachings. And today I learned that people have different coping mechanisms. So if you decide to, heal from a breakup or a divorce for 6 months, it's fine. Just go at your pace. Nobody is going to put pressure on you. My name remains Covenant, aka the Livers Girl. And like I always say, keep living, keep learning, and keep loving. Have a wonderful day and bye for now.
Yeah.